February.
So this one's scheduled for 10, remember. Julius Francis has trained for 10 rounds. We suspect that Mike Holden, the late substitute, probably hasn't. And the early stages of this second round going very much the way the first round went, with Francis stalking his prey and Holden very watchfully trying to keep out of trouble. But you get the feeling that sooner rather than later Francis is going to start unloading.
Yes, he's just beginning to step in with the jab and follow it up, but he's eventually, as you say, he's got to put some combinations together and get on with the job. But so far he's in control anyway, but hopefully we'll see a little bit more action than this in the next 10 rounds.
Very light jabs from Holden, which is always easy to say from this side of the ropes, of course. Well, still nobody able to land a clean shot here. Very cagey stuff. Holden just for a moment backed up into a corner, but he got out without any difficulty at all.
Francis is just following him round. He did cut the ring off for a while, and now he's stopped doing that. He's just following round and poking the jab out. Really, he's the man with the supposed class. He's the one who's going to get on with it. I don't blame Holden at all for being circumspect. He's come in at the last minute.
Decent jab from Holden. And if he can just keep working that, this could get interesting. Nothing will dishearten you more than a stream of jabs just planted into your face. And Holden definitely looking to work the jab. And Francis well out of range at the moment.
Yes, for some reason he's just not stepping into range and landing there.
Landed there, the right hand landed there. It's been a long time coming, and it was just a single shot right at the end of the round, which Holden took fairly well.
Romford as well, so he's, they must believe in him. They've taken the fight. They must be confident.
Scheduled for 10, don't forget. This is round 3.
Sensible thing for Francis to do would be just to work his body, to jab in and work the body. And tire him out, wear him down, slow him down. At the moment, there's a lot of feinting from Francis, 1 or 2 jabs and nothing much else.
And a bit more aggression from Holden here in this third round as well. Francis certainly taking his time here. He is one of those fighters who does blow hot and cold as well when he's good. He's a handful for any heavyweight in the country. But if he's not on form, quite the opposite. And at the moment it's too early to say which Julius Francis has showed up here. But Holden seemingly growing in confidence. That's looking to snake in that jab. Better from Francis.
I think Holden acknowledged it as well. I think he said something like "good shot" to him. So he's very calm, isn't he?
Well, that's where you really play mind games with your opponent, isn't it? You land a good shot and your opponent says, "Oh yeah, good shot." Now try it again. Holden all at sea. You really get the feeling there's a psychological battle being waged in there at the moment, with neither man prepared to take any chances. The right hand gets through again. This will encourage Francis. And Holden just shaking that one off a little bit.
Yes, that stung him a little, didn't it?
And so did that. The uppercut getting through, and Francis starting to step it up a little bit here in this third round. Julius Francis step it up a little notch here.
Well, Holden, he's come out to get closer and throw a few punches. Should get interesting now.
Well, the phony war is over. They've taken the time to warm up, but it's down to serious business now here in round 4. Well, we talked about Holden and the adjustments he's had to make, Bob, just stepping in at late notice and going 10 rounds, but worth pointing out that Julius Francis thought he was going to be defending his Southern Area heavyweight title tonight, so perhaps a let down for him a little bit psychologically as well.
Yes, it would be understandable, wouldn't it, if he's prepared for Gary Delaney, a big left-hooking, dangerous fighter who a lot of people on his side, and suddenly that's all off. He's got to wait to be told who his next opponent is. He's got to accept it and get on with it, and then he finds it's a fellow with 4 fights behind him and might be anything.
Another right hand getting through there. Holden took that reasonably well. But he doesn't want to take too many more of those.
At least he's coming forward in this round and trying to throw punches himself. I mean, he wasn't going to win the fight backing off and flicking out a jab, so at least he's coming to try this round.
A rueful smile there as that one bounces off the side of his head. But Francis definitely the aggressor here.
So far, Francis is too accurate for him, isn't he? He's winning the exchanges because his straight punches are getting through.
Better work from Holden. A couple of good shots coming in response from Francis. But again, it's individual shots really. No combinations here. He's looking for one big punch here, Francis.
He seems content to keep him under control. If Holden comes in and has a go, then he just raises it a little bit and then drops it off again. And as you say, waits for one punch. Or maybe he's waiting for Holden to tire.
Round 5 scheduled for 10. Holden just trying to keep out of range. A lot of air shots in this fight so far.
3 of them there. 3 jabs, all fell short. Holden's corner calling out to him to throw the right cross. To get on with it, I think. Try and do something different.
Still the feinting and the dodging and the games are going on, the mind games, which I thought we got through. They're back again.
Yes, Holden's just moving around, flicking the jab out, just as if he's waiting to find some inspiration from somewhere. It won't happen if he just does this. He's got to make something happen.
Francis proving very elusive.
Yes, Holden showed him the punches about 3 yards before they began to come, so Francis is just not going to get involved with him at this stage, as he's just moving around and doing what he wants, really. But I think everybody in the hall would like to see somebody open up.
O'Connell, the referee, hasn't had too much to do in this fight so far.
Work inside. Don't wait for him.
Francis has been down a few times in his career, but there's Francis and Popo from Bethnal Green. He's got to get on with it if he wants to win the fight.
I don't see him winning a points decision. The cleaner work has been coming from Francis.
He's given away 5 out of 5, hasn't he? He's not done enough. And Francis hasn't done a lot more, but he's been the one doing most of the scoring. Just a slip on the... It's not wet canvas, but just caught a slippery patch and his foot went out of the ring. You would think in the 6th round of a heavyweight contest they would have worked this out by now. They're feinting a lot, jabbing, and then going back to the feinting and having a step back and another look. They really do have to get on with this.
Straight left from Francis. No sign of any concern whatsoever. That's another little straight left. So a different punch in the fight. The left coming in from Francis now. Good to see a little bit of variety here from Julius Francis.
Holden's not really responding to this jab going into his face, is he? He's just a couple of steps back and blood from his nose now, so they really are sinking home, aren't they?
Doesn't seem to be able to close in on his opponent either, Holden, when he does launch a foray.
You just get the feeling that it's about time that Francis opened up now. His man's getting tired. He's getting more tired. He's been doing the moving around. Francis has just been plodding forward. And it's really time he began to exert pressure.
Well, as you say, he's calling the shots, Francis. But he's just not finding the finish at the moment. And you've got to credit Holden to some extent for that. But, you know, you do sense that Julius Francis can go up 2 or 3 gears here. And needs to as well.
Yes, you've got to get credit Holden in that he's come in at short notice. He found out perhaps that he may be a little bit out of his league in terms of experience and skill, but he's still in there and he's still trying his best. But now it's the criticism must be levelled at Francis that he's not getting on with it. Even his corner are yelling him forward now.
Well, he's just starting to edge forward a little bit here, Francis. So round 7, 3 more after this. Mike Holden from Manchester, the underdog, against Julius Francis, who many people thought might have a fairly easy night's work here. Hasn't turned out that way so far. Holden not disgracing himself despite coming in as a pretty late substitute.
Promoter Frank Maloney's just come alongside and added the same complaint that we've got, that Francis is showing the man too much respect.
Good shot there, but Holden just gave another one of those wry smiles. But now, can Francis follow that up? Can he open this guy up a little bit? Straight left gets through.
Holden's getting a bit lumpy around the right eye as well now. He's a few marks of battle, blood from the mouth and a bit from the nose, but
he's still together though, Bob. He's not in any great distress.
No, still moving his upper body and trying. It's a bit ponderous there, isn't he? He's not really put together a significant attack in the whole fight. And you know, feeling that if Francis really got on with it and threw half a dozen shots and then another half dozen, Larry O'Connell might think, well, this is getting too one-sided, I'll stop it.
It's one shot and out again though from Francis.
Holden's gone further in rounds than he's ever gone before in a fight anyway, so he's picked something out of this.
Not much of an attacking force though, Mike Holden, has to be said. Looks like he's come here to survive.
Oh, I can't blame him, it's his 5th pro fight and he's tried hard and he's hanging in there. He's in the 7th round with a Southern Area champion, but my complaints really are aimed at Francis. It's not Holden's job to make Francis get on with it. It's Holden's job to do the best he can, and I think he is.
Francis goes downstairs, gets a laugh this time from Holden.
He nearly hit him on the behind, didn't he? Caught him just as he's turning away, I think.
Well, it's certainly a very enjoyable fight for Mike Holden. Every time he gets hit, he smiles. Haven't seen too many smiles from Julius Francis.
Now remember, in the first round he came out with intent and, as you said, focused, fierce, burning expression, and that seems to have just gone. He's just...
This heavyweight contest between Mike Holden and Julius Francis. And the early moments of this 8th round following a familiar pattern. Francis stalking his opponent, landing the odd single shot. Holden standing there, taking it, not offering an awful lot in the way of a hostile response. Better uppercut from Francis.
But he stopped again, didn't he? Good shot that was, a good clean punch. Caught Holden by surprise, and then he stopped and he hasn't thrown another one for what, 20 seconds?
Mike Holden's a tough guy. I don't see him going down from a single shot. It's going to be an accumulation of punches. Yeah, you look at Francis now, and the focus and the intensity that was there in the first couple of rounds, he almost looks bored in there, Bob.
Yes, I can't really understand why. He must, if he wants to make an impression on the heavyweight division, just do a job on fighters like this. People who come in as late substitutes, who might be decent, they might be good in their own class, they're perfectly respectable, but if he wants to be a champion, he's got to go in there and do the business. It's no use flicking jabs out for 8 rounds. Holden's trying to put a few punches together himself, isn't he? But he just doesn't quite have the accuracy. But you never know, he might land a right hand from somewhere. That's frustration from Francis, a big long sweep.
Just missing. Just a sign here, Bob, that Holden's starting to slow down a little bit, starting to feel the pace. Remember, he's never gone this far before.
Yes, he's going to have no choice in the end but to throw some punches because, he, as you say, he's tired. He's getting tired. But Francis just seems content to out-jab him, and that'll do, I suppose, if it works.
2 rounds to go. This is round 9. With Julius Francis in the white trunks a mile ahead on points, unofficially, and I'm sure Larry O'Connell isn't going to disagree with that too radically. Now, can Mike Holden find something to turn this fight upside down, or will Julius Francis settle for just plodding along for a points decision, or will Francis decide?
I think there's a problem. I think Francis has got a cut.
Oh, there was
a left eye. There was a smack of heads there. Francis immediately dabbed at it as if he knew there was a problem, and it's difficult to see, but it doesn't look a good one.
Doesn't look a good one at all. It's late in the fight, which is the good news, but it's definitely bleeding quite profusely now. Larry O'Connell's going to have to step in here, I think, and does. Well,
it looks a horrible cut.
It really does look bad, doesn't it? There's blood all over Holden as well, but that's from that cut. And Larry O'Connell won't let this continue if there's much doubt. It's okay for now, but it's a nasty one.
I think he's going to give him the benefit because he's a long way ahead on points, obviously, and sometimes these things bleed a lot and actually are only grazes, and it's difficult to tell from outside the ropes.
That doesn't look good though, and Holden can see it, and he's going for it. And Larry O'Connell staring very closely at that eye. And what was a routine night at the office for Julius Francis has suddenly turned ugly.
Yes, and Francis frankly has only himself to blame for not getting on with the job when he had the opportunity. He should have used his class early on to make the job easier for himself. And now he's paid the penalty. There's been a crash of heads, and Holden's got fired up and has got a shock win in sight. What an upset it would be.
And it is a messy cut. If this was in round 4 or 5, I think Larry O'Connell would step in. It's an ugly one. And I think every time Larry O'Connell goes anywhere near Julius Francis, his heart stops. O'Connell looking at him long and hard. Now, what has Holden got? It's taken all the stuffing out of Francis. He knows he's in trouble.
He's just got to move, hasn't he? He's just got to keep out of the way. He can't go rushing in like that. He'll get another crack of heads and it'll be all over.
And Holden covered in blood. It's all from his opponent. At least the bleeding seems to have stopped now, but there is a deep cut there.
There's some more blood though, and I think Holden's cut as well over the bridge of the nose, look. And I think that came from the second clash of heads when Francis rushed in the corner. And there's a cut over Holden's right eye now. The blood running down the side of his nose.
And they'll both be relieved to hear that bell.
I think Holden's got no choice but to go for it. He's the one who's behind on points. Francis, well, now he can't go for the stoppage because he risks too much. A defeat against Holden now would be really sickening for him. But as we said earlier, he's contributed to it himself. It's a dangerous place in there. You're going to get cut if you hang around in there too long.
And Mike Holden's going to come out of this with a bit of credit, taking it at very late notice and going into the 10th round in just his 5th pro fight. He'll have learned a lot from this. And I think one thing he's learned is he can mix it in pretty decent company without being too afraid of his own limitations.
Yes, he's done a good job.
Looking for the shots to open up that cut and force an intervention. It would take a drastic cut now, really, for Larry O'Connell to step in this final round.
Yes, and Francis knows that, and Francis is doing a good job of keeping out of the way. He's not worried at all about scoring points anymore. He's just moving and frustrating and poking the jab out. And he's accepted it's going to go the distance. And Holden doesn't really have the skill or the technique to break him down. So far. Famous words.
Well, it's very late in the day now. And it looks like both those cuts are going to stand up.
Julius Francis shot us a glance then. I don't know what he thinks we can do. Maybe he's been listening to us and he's not too pleased.
Well, I tell you, if he has been listening to us, you and I are beating a quick exit from here. Clock continuing to run down in this 10th and final round. Surely Francis has done enough.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any doubt Francis is a mile ahead on points. For me anyway. I'd be shocked if it went the other way.
Some drama in the 9th round. Both men cut and shipping blood. Well, they both seem to be okay now.
It's an argument for Holden winning the last 2 rounds when Francis has just coasted and got out of the way once he was cut and now has tried to just keep clear of further trouble in the last round.
Last few seconds then of a real slow burner of a fight. Nothing really much to write home about in the first 6-7 rounds, but it did finish well.
Another crack of heads there.
Everybody knew it, and that will do it. And Larry O'Connell lifts the glove of Julius Francis. I think Mike Holden tried a corner draw there was never any doubt about that, and all smiles and congratulations at the finish. Well, it never exactly gripped the imagination, Bob, but this crowd's certainly very appreciative of the effort that both men gave.
Yes, they're a good crowd here. They're boxing people. There's Colin McMillan, former WBO world featherweight champion, sitting with Francis Ampofo. It's fighters' country. They come here, sit down in the crowd, and
well, just as you said, Bob, Francis coasting through the last couple of rounds, which made it perhaps a little bit closer than it deserved, but nevertheless fairly straightforward and routine for Julius Francis. But he can and needs to perform a lot better than that. Mike Holden, well, he'll have learnt a lot as well, and the good thing is that it's all smiles and best mates at the end of it.
Raptor. That was the wrap. I don't need any more. That was success. What do I do to deserve this? What do you do? It's hard work, this, isn't it? Yeah. It's true when it's so, the same thing around.